Janet and John go to the coast. Today, Janet and John are going to the coast. John puts on an 18th century Italian admiral's uniform with gold frogging medals and a feathered hat. See Janet and John walk down the lane to the bus stop. John likes going on the bus. Janet gives John a barley sugar to suck, so he's not travel sick, and makes sure his reins are done up so he doesn't run up and down, lick the windows, and annoy the other passengers. Do you know what attention deficit disorder is? Janet does. When they arrive at the seaside, there's a cold wind blowing. Janet sees an antique shop, wants to look inside, as she's seen a nice old copper coal bucket. John doesn't like antiques, so he says, "Can I go over there and play on the swings, please?" And Janet says, "Yes, all right, if you're a good boy, you can have a plate of whelks later. So try and behave." "I will," says John. John's only been on the swings a few minutes when he sees Melanie Frontage. "Hello, Johnny," says Mrs. Frontage. Melanie Frontage has a private shop with black windows. See the appliances. John says, "Hello, Mrs. Frontage, what are you doing here today?" And Melanie Frontage says, "I just came down to look at the old place. I grew up quite near here. I don't remember it being as cold as this, though. I hope I don't get a chest cold." Do you know how much the postage on those would cost? John doesn't, but he thinks it would be more than his pocket money. And Mrs. Frontage says, "I'm pleased to see that the cockle stall is still there. I think it must be nearly 70 years old now. My uncle used to run it when I was a little girl, nearly 40 years ago. All it needs is a quick coat of paint and a bit of work from someone who cares, and it would be as good as new." And John says, "I like shellfish. Janet says we can have some before we go home if I'm a good boy." Mrs. Frontage says, "You're always a good boy, John. I have to go now. I'm meeting a friend for lunch." See John wave goodbye to Melanie Frontage. Soon John sees Janet coming back. Janet is carrying the copper coal bucket. Do you know what a bargain is? Janet does. "Hello, Janet," says John. And Janet says, "Don't you hello, Janet, me. Who is that woman I saw you talking to?" And John says, "That was Melanie Frontage. She was just remembering the old times with me. She said, considering how old it is, she was surprised to see the old cockle stand and said that all it needs is sympathetic handling and a quick lick, and it's as good as it was 40 years ago." Do you know how to put authentic-looking dents in an old coal bucket? Janet does.
Oh, dear.
Poor John.